Hello, everybody, and welcome to the fourth quarter. Today, we're going to be going over the NBA mock draft, the lottery picks, who's going to get what their fit will be with their team, and how it's going to affect the future of each franchise. So, let's get into it.
The Dallas Mavericks select
Cooper Flag out of Duke University. No surprise here. Flag, as some people say, is a generational prospect. I don't know if I go that far, but he is a very good prospect. And the basketball gods kind of gifted the Mavericks here the first pick after trading Luka Doncic, one of the craziest trades in sports history. So they got kind of lucky here. New building block for them. Flag's going to be able to come right in and help Dallas get back to the playoffs and potentially be a contender because they have one of the deepest rosters in the entire league. Flag's going to fit in here next to AD and help Dallas. I mean, win some games while Kyrie's out. He's a winning player, as he's shown his entire career in high school and at Duke, leading them to the number one seed, one of the number one seeds in the NCAA tournament, and in high school, leading them to a perfect record and a high school championship. So right now, looking at the Mavericks depth chart here, at the 3 they got PJ Washington. He's somebody that I would look for the Mavericks to trade. They also have a logjam at center position. They got Lively and Gafford right now. One of those guys will probably get traded. I would say Gafford. They like Lively a lot. So adding Lively, Davis, and Cooper Flag at the 3 could actually make one of the greatest defensive lineups in the league in just a couple of years. I think Flag's going to be able to come in and be a really game-changing defensive player. And then when Kyrie comes back, this team could be a legitimate contender with Klay Thompson at the 2. They got pieces off the bench, Najee Marshall, Caleb Martin. They have Jaden Hardy, who I still think has some potential, Max Christie. Yeah, I think, and Flag's going to have the ability to and the opportunity to have the ball in his hands with Kyrie being out. They're going to look to trade for a point guard, but look for the Mavs to put the ball in Flag's hands to start at least a little bit, and he'll be able to shine on the offensive end as AD is very injury prone. Chances are he'll be out for a few games. Flag, we're really going to get to see what he's going to be able to do and what he's going to show some of his flashes for the Mavericks in the time that AD might not be playing.
the San Antonio Spurs select
Dylan Harper out of Rutgers University. Harper's a big guard. A lot of people had him listed at 6'6". He actually listed at 6'4.5" at the combine. And it's a little bit of a weird fit, as most know. Stephon Castle, Rookie of the Year, played shooting guard for them. And they also have De'Aaron Fox as their starting point guard for the future as of right now. And obviously they have Wembanyama at the center. So it's going to be, they have an amazing young team. It's just going to be tough to fit in Harper with Castle and Fox, but there is a way to do that. So Harper is going to be able to slide in next to Fox as a secondary playmaker and relieve some pressure from him. He's a huge guard at around 6'4.5", 6'5". It's pretty big for a point guard or a guard in general. And he's very physical as well, as he showed at Rutgers. It's going to allow him to guard multiple positions at the next level and handle the ball when needed. He's a good off-ball player as well, playing alongside Fox, who is, as everyone knows, an elite on-ball threat. This will require Dylan to really grow as a cutter and a spot-up shooter. He was a decent shooter at Rutgers. That is something he has to work on for him to maximize his potential, and I really feel like there's no better place to do that than San Antonio. They know how to work with their prospects and get the best out of each and every one of them. As for like a long-term fit, the NBA, as people know, is really moving to be a positionless game, and Harper, Castle, and Fox together, I feel there's so much skill, and they're all bigger guards. Fox is not a bigger guard, but he's just a polarizing player, and I feel like he can work with them. And Harper's going to be able to definitely fit with Wemby for the future. He excels in the pick and roll, and he can use that size to change pace and manipulate defenders. And then obviously involving Victor as like a roll man, that would give Harper elite options for like but give him driving kick options. You have decent shooters on the team like Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell. They're obviously going to bring in more guys. They got Harrison Barnes for next year as of right now. Julian Champagny, great shooter. So he can drive, kick the ball out to them, or give it up to Wemby, and Wemby just does his thing. And Harper really fits that Spurs culture. He's a very coachable kid, team oriented, strong mentality. He knows what it's about, and obviously his season at Rutgers was not the best, but the potential's there, the mindset is there. I feel like he's going to be an outstanding player at the next level, and the Spurs are just a really, really great fit. I know it sounds weird now, being that their backcourt's kind of crowded, but with the way the NBA is going, I feel like this fit is good, and it's going to be able to last in the short term and the long term as San Antonio tries to push for the playoffs next year, and then contending in the next couple of years.
The Philadelphia 76ers
select Ace Bailey, Harper's teammate out of Rutgers, a six. They have him listed at 6'10", but I think he measured in at 6'9" at the combine. Still very good. He is 19 years old, a insanely good scorer. He lives on these tough shots, which obviously isn't the greatest thing when that's like your only skill. He's got to get better at defense and playmaking overall. I mean, he was a net negative actually for Rutgers during his season there, but the potential's obviously there. He's shown the ability to make tough shots. He takes a lot, he makes a lot. He does miss a lot as well, but it's a risk that Philly, I feel like, should be willing to take. They have a lot of great young pieces, and if they develop Bailey properly, they could be having a superstar on their hands, potentially the best player in the entire class if he hits his ceiling. Now looking at Bailey on the current roster, I mean, I don't think Ace Bailey is going to be able to come in and be a super impactful player for Philly as they look to contend. Obviously, they put all their money into having a really good roster right now. They got Joel Embiid, they got Paul George, they got Tyrese Maxey. They have some decent players like Jared McCain, Yabusele, who turned out to be a great player for them. So they have a lot of guys that are ready to compete now, and I think Bailey needs some time to grow and develop. And being around a guy like Paul George is definitely going to help him. And being around a winning team, good coach and Nick Nurse. I mean, I feel like if Philly decides to trade Joel Embiid at some point, if next year doesn't work out, they do have pieces that they can really look forward to in the future. And Bailey would be, in my opinion, the front of that over a guy like Tyrese Maxey and a guy like Jared McCain. I think the potential is beyond what they are right now. It's really up to Ace if he wants to reach that potential and work on the rest of his game and unlock that full potential.
The Charlotte Hornets select
BJ Edgecombe out of Baylor University, a 6'5" freshman, 19 years old, averaged 15 a game last year for the Bears. He came a long way from the beginning of the year. Could not really shoot the ball. His offense was a little shaky, but he's a super athletic prospect. Has shown the ability to defend at a super high level, and I feel like that would be very valuable to a team like Charlotte, who's really built on their offense. Guys like Miles Bridges, Brandon Miller, LaMelo Ball, not known as defensive guys. I feel like VJ could come in and really set the tone defensively. He's a guy that would really fit that roster and fit that culture. Well, they need a culture, so I feel like he would be able to really come in and help that team really reach their fullest potential. There have been reports that have come out and said recently that the Hornets have really liked their workout and interview with VJ. So I wouldn't say it's a definite pick, but I would say it's very likely that if VJ is there at number 4 for the Hornets and he does not get picked by Philly at 3, that they go Edgecombe at number 4.
the Utah Jazz select
Trey Johnson out of Texas University. Johnson is a kind of like Ace Bailey, a really tough shot maker, really, really special offensive player for Texas. I did watch a decent amount of Texas games last year. His ability to put the ball in the basket is absolutely legit. He stands at 6'6", was a freshman, 19 years old, and I think he fits super well with Utah, who is a very well-run organization. They have some pieces that are great for the future. Isaiah Collier was shocking as a rookie last year, was a late first-round pick. Um, they have guys like Walker Kessler, great defensive player. Filipowski for them was great as a rookie. Was a second-round pick last year. They have guys like Colin Sexton, Keontae George, but they don't have that guy that's going to come in and be a star player for them. And that's where I think Trey Johnson fits in perfectly. I think he has all-star potential. And I mean, just watching the clips, you can see how special of an offensive player that he is. And he shot the ball extremely well at the combine. He measured in well. He really just showed his ability to put the ball in the basket. And I feel like Utah could really use a guy like him, and he could fit into their future seamlessly and slide into that small forward position and be a foundational piece as they look to rebuild that roster.
The Washington Wizards select
Kamon Malawach out of Duke University. Some people might say that this pick doesn't make much sense, being that they drafted Alex Sarr last year. I think that the two of these guys together could make one of the best defensive front courts in the entire league one day. Malawach stands at 7'2" as a 19-year-old freshman, averaged around 9 and 6 last year. I watched almost all of Duke's games last year to watch Flag and Con Knipple, who we're going to get to in a little bit. And Malawach really stood out to me. Uh, Very athletic, super long arms, blocks a ton of shots. And him and Alex Sarr would fit, I think, seamlessly together. And Washington right now is building a very good defensive identity with guys like Bilal Coulibaly and Keyshawn George and obviously Alex Sarr, as I mentioned before. And Malawach is going to be able to come in and help that defense right away. Be a guy who, not off the bat, will be able to hit shots, but I think in time, the shot looks good. And as he works on his reps and stuff and getting his shots up, he could be a stretch five for them in the future alongside Sarr. And I feel like that's a very good fit for Malawach.
the New Orleans Pelicans select
Con Knipple out of Duke, teammate of Flag and Malawach. Knipple's going to come into this team and be a rotational piece right away. As a freshman, averaged around 14 a game. I think I saw something, he was in the 90th percentile when shooting the ball, which is amazing. He was also a freshman. He was under the radar coming in on no mock drafts, really, before the season really started and workouts started showing his ability to shoot the ball, and teams were really put on notice. He's also 6'7". He might be a little bit shorter than that, probably around 6'6", but he has an unbelievable ability to shoot the basketball. And he's going to come into that Pelicans team who has some very nice pieces in Zion Williamson, if he could stay healthy, one of the top 15 best players in the league. And they have guys like DeJounte Murray, CJ McCollum, and Knipple is going to be able to come right in and be a rotational piece. And I think 7's a good spot for him. I know some people have Utah taking him at number 5. I feel like the lower he goes in the top 10, definitely a top 10 prospect, but the lower he goes in the top 10, I feel like his value is going to be maximized. I don't know if I see all-star potential in Knipple. There definitely is the potential that he does become an all-star, but I think the more realistic outcome for him is a really good starter, a guy that's going to be able to hit threes at a really, really great rate, competes defensively, and I think he's a guy who's going to be in the league for a long, long time.
the Brooklyn Nets select
Jeremiah Fears out of Oklahoma University. Fears, a 6'4" freshman, averaged 17 a game, leading the Sooners to the NCAA tournament last season. A super polarizing offensive player, has a great ability to put the ball in the basket. As I've said about a few different guys in the top 10, East Bailey and Trey Johnson, Fears is right with them. And He could easily go number 5 to Utah or number 6 to Washington. This part of the draft is really up in the air and will depend on workouts closer to the draft and what teams ultimately decide is the best player for their future. But Fears is right in that conversation to be in the top 5 pick. He has a elite scoring ability, as I said before. He's a very good handle, good playmaker. Defense is obviously in question. Teams are wondering how good can Fears be? Can he be that superstar player? Or will he just be like a really good guard in this league? Or will he be six-man spark off the bench? And I think Brooklyn's a great fit for him. Going to be able to come in and run the offense. I mean, I don't know if Cam Thomas is still going to be there next season, but him and Thomas are really going to be able to run the offense. He's going to really be able to show what he's able to do on the offensive end and show some of that potential and really just take his time with Brooklyn. And they got a great coach in Jordi Fernandez, who was in his first year with the team last year. And I feel like he's going to be able to help maximize his potential in Brooklyn.
The Toronto Raptors select
Derek Queen out of Maryland, another freshman standing at around 6'10". Big body. He surprised a lot of people with the way he played this year. Was not really on mock drafts at the beginning of the year. Maryland was a great team, and he was the head of that team. He was able to score the ball in the paint at an elite level. He's an elite passer as a big. The shot is a work in progress. For a team like Toronto, who's got a center in Jakob Poeltl right now, who's not really the future of that team, Queen could really slide in, and I think he could really fit along with the guys like Scotty Barnes, R.J. Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly. They got Grady Dick as well. A lot of really good offensive players. I feel like he's going to be able to come in and help those guys thrive, and he's going to fit super well with that Toronto team.
the Houston Rockets select
Colin Murray Boyles out of South Carolina. Murray Boyles is not really known as an offensive player, which kind of, fits what the Rockets are doing right now. Not really a great offensive team, but an elite defensive team. And Murray Boyles is one of the best defensive players in this class. He needs to work on his offense, but I think Houston's going to address their need for offense in free agency or via trade. I think Murray Boyles is going to be able to come in and fit that culture right away and be a superstar defensive player for them off their bench, or maybe if he gets some time as a starter. They do have Jabari Smith and Dylan Brooks, so they will probably be the starters for the beginning of the year. But as time goes on, Murray Boyles, if he improves his game, he could be a fantastic player for them and be part of that contending team for years to come.
the Portland Trailblazers select
Kasparis Jakuchonis from University of Illinois, another freshman, 6'6", big guard. Portland has a little bit of question marks with their backcourt right now. They got Scoot Henderson, they got Anthony Simons, they got Shaden Sharp. Simons, I don't really know how much he belongs with them in their future. I don't know how much longer he's going to be there. Scoot has started to show potential last year, and Jakuchonis is going to be able to come in and be another offensive weapon for them in the backcourt. Big guard, can pass the ball very well. He has to work on some things, to polish up his game, but I feel like Portland's a good fit for him, and he's going to be able to come in and help facilitate that offense right away.
the Chicago Bulls select
It's Carter Bryant out of Arizona. Bryant he's really shot up draft boards after the combine and his really, really good NCAA tournament performances. Another freshman standing at 6'8", averaged around 6.5 points a game, 46% from the field. Does a lot of little things. Super young. He's going to be able to develop nicely with that Bulls team. I mean, the way that today's league is going, you can't have too many long athletic wings, and Bryant fits that mold perfectly. So much potential in his game. He's got to work on the shot, but the shot mechanics look great. And obviously, you can look at a lot of the tape from the NCAA tournament. He's shown a lot of flashes and is a big reason why I believe he will be a lottery pick in this year's draft.
the Atlanta Hawks select
Igor Demin out of BYU. This guy came over from overseas. He had a good start to his freshman season, was showing a lot of promise, and as BYU started to play better teams, his production really fell off, efficiency wise and just overall. But there's a lot of intrigue in a guy who's 6'9" and can handle the ball and shows potential to be a pretty good offensive player. I've seen a lot of rumors going around that Demon will be closer to the lottery, probably in the lottery. We'll see how that actually plays out on draft night, but obviously a lot of intrigue in a 6'9" ball handler, as I said before. Offense is a work in progress, and he's a guy who might not be ready to come into a game right now, but he's going to spend a lot of time in the G League, develop that game, and he could be a really, really solid player down the line in his career.
The San Antonio Spurs select
Asa Newell out of Georgia, another freshman, 6'11", athletic, averaged 15 a game on 54% from the field, has the ability to space the floor, runs the floor super well. And Georgia was a very solid team, and I would say he was the best player on that team as a freshman. He rebounds the ball very solidly, averages around 7 a game. And San Antonio really picking up some good players. Harper, obviously, with the second pick, and I have them taking Newell here. These are a lot of guys that have super high upside, and if Asa really develops with the Spurs team, they could have a really special player on their hands down the line.